lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance on hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. Y'all, hundreds, if not thousands of requests for me to review this show. And let me tell y'all, I don't really like watching jail or prison shows because I spent so much of my life locked up in one way or another. The last thing I want to do is sit around and watch jail or prison shows. But I will admit, this show is a super interesting concept and I am so into it. And even my husband Jeremy is into it too. He's been watching it with me. It's been awesome. So today we're going to talk about the first season. We have finished the first season. We're actually on to the second season. And yeah, we're going to dissect some things. I got some real opinions, y'all. I got some things to say about this show. So if you've never seen this show, it is on A&E. I watch it on DirecTV. With DirecTV, AT&T, or whatever it is, you can actually go into the search engine there and pull up the show with all the seasons. But if you do not have DirecTV, a lot of my following has told me that you can watch it on Hulu. I don't have Hulu, so I'm not 100% sure. So if you haven't watched it yet and you guys want to follow along with this, because if y'all like this, let me know below. I want to do more because I'm super into this show. But if you haven't watched it, then go watch it so you can follow along with me. And you can kind of jump around from seasons because each season is a new group of people, but it's the same concept for each season. So I'm excited. Eek! All right, let's just get into the first scene. Zach, who just adores Zach. He's very good in this show. I really like the way that he handles himself. He comes in and he looks like he is an inmate. Did you see the mugshot? I mean, come on. That looks like a real mugshot. He came in with his game face ready. He was very humble about it. He didn't think he was better than anybody. He came in to learn. He said he wants to work for the DEA. That is his goals, which I'm very confused about. The whole time I was watching this was like, I hope he's not planning on being like an undercover agent with the DEA now that he's put his face all over national TV. That maybe if he's going to work behind the scenes or something like that, it could still work out. But as far as like being undercover, I don't really know how that's going to work. But yes, from the get-go, I really liked Zach's vibe. And yeah, let me know what y'all think about him down below. Let's just get into the next scene. Okay, did y'all hear all that screaming in the background? That is what I was telling y'all about solitary confinement. If you haven't watched my solitary confinement videos, go and check them out. But the screaming, and in this screaming, particularly this woman, I think the sounds of her screams that maybe there was some mental illness playing a part of that, which you guys know already that there are so many people that are mentally ill in jail and prisons where that's the last place that they should be, but that's just the way things operate. But the screaming just in the background, it's like so intense. Now imagine being in a cell, right? Nothing but you, no distractions. At least while he was walking through and heard the screaming, he was distracted by the cameras and his fingerprints and getting his bags together and, you know, doing a strip search or whatever he had to do. He had a distraction. But when you're in solitary confinement or when you're in confinement or whatever you want to call it, the whole whatever, the screaming is so loud. And then you have like 10 different people doing it. And that's all you can hear is the screams and the sounds that people make and the banging their heads against the wall and the punching the wall. And it's like there's nothing you can do to escape that. And even the most mentally sane person can get broke down. I mean, you have to fight to not lose your sanity in there. And then we here in America take people for the pettiest little things, like in my situation, as far as being in the hole, not what I went to prison for, y'all know, but as far as me being put in the hole, the guards lied on me. They gave false statements and threw me in the hole for 30 days. And I had to go through all of that for no reason at all, and they were trying to break me is what they were trying to do. But those screams alone, I'm telling you, man, it penetrates your soul and you can't escape it, you know? Like, imagine sitting on an airplane next to a crying baby. Okay, I just actually had to do that this last trip to LA, which I love babies and I know that they're gonna cry, but when you're sitting on a plane for 5 hours and a baby's crying in your ear, the only thing you want to do is get off of that plane because of the noise, right? The noise, it gets to you. Now, if your mommy's out there and you have to travel, or if you're in the store, I don't want y'all to feel bad at all. I have kids too. I know how that is. I know how it is when they're crying, especially moms. If you're in a car, right, with your babies and you have to take a long trip and they're just crying, you want to lose your mind, right? Like, you just, because it's the sound. It's nothing against the child or the baby. It's the sound. Now imagine that for 30 days, nonstop, multiple screams, multiple cryings, and not being able to escape. Okay, mommies, feel how you feel when you're in the car and your baby's crying and you have to drive. That's the vibe it is. It's that alone. Oh, it's awful. I'm getting stressed out thinking about it. Let's just get on to the next scene.
As a police officer, I don't have a very good opinion of the prison system.
You want to grab that door? Here's your blanket. What's going to happen?
What I get to see on a daily basis is people that I'm throwing in there, and I could have gone the way of the people that I went out and locked. I am forced to adapt behaviorally. Am I going to change? Am I going to be a different person when I come out? Those are some scary things to think about.
Right from the get-go, there's something about her character in this show that I don't like. I'm not going to say that I don't like her because I don't know her. And anytime you're put in a situation like this, I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay, she is going into the jail, but she's on TV. Okay, there is going to be edits when you're on TV. There's going to be cuts. They're going to take certain scenes out. They're going to paint the picture that they want to paint, right? But she seems to me very prideful, very, I'm a tough cop. I throw people in jail. I'm going to come in here to see what they go through, you know, and right off the bat, I'm like, girlfriend, you've got a rude of awakening coming, girl. You are about to be on even playing fields with everybody else, right? Like, it's totally different between her vibe and Zach's vibe. Zach wants to be a DEA agent, okay? And he come in very humble and
I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of it.
Wanting to learn, wanting to fit in so he could learn, okay? In my opinion, Tammy comes in like on a totally different wavelength, and right off the bat, I'm like, girl, I can't wait to see you on this show. All right, so let's just get on to the next scene.
My view on the criminal justice systems here in the U.S. is that they are not tough enough. Being a military wife, you know, my husband works so hard to earn those 3 square meals a day. He kind of gets the same benefits that the criminals do in a way. I feel like it's not very fair to him.
I totally.
Really, Barbara? Really, Barbara? Girl, like, when I first saw this, I was like, I can't wait for this little baby girl to get in here and learn her a lesson or two. Basically saying, like, jail prisoners and people in jail get a free ride while my husband's out working. Get off of your high horse, you know, quit licking your own butt crack, basically. You know what I'm saying? Girl, just please stop it. Go on in there and get you a mat, okay? Go on in there and get you one of them trays. Let's see how you feeling in about a month. Why you thinking that prisoners and we're getting a free ride? That's just like people saying that, like, people in jail get all this free health care and all that. We're going to talk about that later. We're going to get there. Let's just go on to the next scene.
And is dating someone else in the pod that we live in. And they'll be laying on top of each other, kissing, and various other things will be happening. Which is uncomfortable for me.
Here she goes again. Okay, now I will say this. It is uncomfortable and it's a little awkward whenever you're in jail or prison and women below you, next to you, or above you start having relations. And it's nothing to do with women on women or anything like that. It makes you feel like it's the same vibe as like if you're at a restaurant and the people in the booth right next to you are just like tonguing each other down and just like feeling all over each other. Now listen, I believe in PDA. Like I'm so about like, you know, public displays of affection. I'm a very affectionate person myself. If you guys saw my video with Donna, you know that even with her, one of my best friends, I'm hugging, I'm kissing, I'm just like that. So I'm that type of chick anyways, but that's a totally different thing from just like completely like, like filling each other up and like making out with each other and just, you know, do you. Like no shame in it. Like I'm not here to judge you, do you, but it still feels a little awkward, you know? So I get what she's saying with that. But it's just something about the way she carries herself and the way she talks, which is very condescending. I don't know. Do you guys agree or you don't agree? Let me know in the comment section down below. You know that I love hearing from you guys, whether y'all agree or not. Just let me know what you think. Am I reading it wrong or did y'all feel the same way? All right, let's get into the next scene. That is very true. Basically, he was walking in with his mats and all of the guys were basically like sizing him up, you know, messing with him mentally. I don't think they really wanted to, but mentally messing with him, telling him how they were going to take his booty and stuff like that. The reason why I wanted to show y'all guys that is because that really happens. Like female prison or male prison, when you walk in, they're sizing you up in a sexual way, whether they want it or not. Some of the times they actually do want it, okay? And it does make you feel very awkward. And depending on who the people are saying it, it can make you feel afraid. Like I've told you guys before that assaults in that way do happen in the male and the female's pods, prisons, facilities, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, let's just move on to the next scene.
In the U.S. do not seem that difficult. I would love to see reform. It seems like
Now, I want to talk real quick about Robert first. At first, when I first started watching this, I felt bad for him. I was like, oh, Robert, he's so cute. Like, bless his little heart. And then he made the statement that we need reform. At first, I was like, yes, Robert is on our team. He's coming here because he knows that we need reform, and we do. But then he turned around and said that he didn't think our systems were bad. So what kind of reform does he think we need? Does he think we need it worse? Because I don't get what you're saying. And then throughout the whole entire season, as you guys know, if you've watched it, he continued to go on and on saying like, this is a country club and this is so relaxing and jail isn't bad and confinement isn't bad. I'm like, okay, obviously you've either got some issues or you're lying. Because there's nothing fun about it. There's nothing relaxing about it. Nothing. And I've done years behind bars, not just my 3 years in prison, but, you know, as a juvenile and jail stints and stuff like that too. And I've never in my life heard anybody say, this is relaxing, this is a country club, this is anything, ever, ever. And so for him to come on TV and try to show out like that, like, that would have been all fine and dandy if he did that by himself, but the fact that he tied in the fact that we need reform, I was so confused. If any of you guys can help me figure that out, let me know below, because I was like, a do what? We're going to talk more about him later. So let's just get into the next scene.
My thinking at that time was not to appear too hard. Like, don't walk in with a swagger and try to act like I'm top dog, but at the same time, don't walk in meek and timid either.
See, this is another reason why I just adore Zach. He doesn't try to appear too hard, but yet he doesn't want to seem intimidated either. And that's exactly how you need to be when you go in jail or prison, okay? Like I've told y'all before in other videos, it's a very, very fine line that you have to walk in there. You can't go in there feeling like you can whoop everybody and that you want to be the top dog and you want to be the pod boss and all that. But you also can't go in there being very passive aggressive either, because then you're going to get walked all over and they are going to try you. Inmates are absolutely going to try you. They've tried me, they've tried everybody, and you have to know when to fight your battles and when not to. Some things are worth it, some things aren't, but at no times can you present yourself as a pushover, because once you do that, baby, it's over. It is over for you. Okay, let's get into the next scene.
In my cell, I have this little tiny window. And the showers and the toilet are freaking disgusting.
All right, here's Tammy talking about how disgusting the room is. Yes, it is disgusting. This is not day camp. This is what I'm telling you guys about. That's why I like shows like these versus, you know, Wentworth or Orange is the New Black, because Orange is the New Black and Wentworth, Orange is the New Black is really like clean looking and kind of polished and all that. And I know some of y'all say it's because it's a minimum security and that none of that matters to me, okay? None of that matters. I've been in minimum security and it's never looked that good. And then Wentworth was kind of more grungy looking, but still not. This 60 Days In shows you how nasty it is. You hardly ever see anybody in there walking around barefooted. Even if they don't have on their shower slides, they have on socks. You want to know why? Because even if that floor has just been mopped, it is disgusting. Everything is disgusting. You got to think about, there's parts in this show where this girl's like scratching. She's got hives all over her body, okay? So she's scratching all these hives, then she's touching everything, then you're touching everything, then you're touching your eyes. It is like an OCD overload when you're in there. If you think like I do, like you literally can see the germs all over everything. So yes, Tammy, it's very disgusting. All right, let's get into the next scene.
I took care of it. Most people, I think, understand now that I'm somebody that you don't screw around with. I kind of like it.
How is Tammy gonna act like she handled something? How is she? She did not go and get her shoes back. She sat there and watched that girl walk around with her shoes and drop little passive aggressive hints talking about, you got my shoes on? No, boo-boo. You should have went and got your shoes. You sat around and let the other girl go get your shoes and then stood to the camera acting hard like you did something. What did you do? Did they edit out the part that you did? Because I saw the other girl go and get your shoes. Let me tell you guys what I would have personally done, and let me just let you know right now, I don't think I'm the hardest person on the planet Earth. I don't think I'm hard at all. Matter of fact, I cry over the drop of a dime. I am a softie nowadays. Back then, that was a different story. But now, that's how it is. But still, I know the game. And you have to stand up for yourself. That girl was testing her by taking her shoes. She was testing her. That's exactly what it is. Other things inmates will do, they'll come sit on your bed. When I first got to prison, I came into the bunk room or whatever after like my first day, and I had like 4 girls sitting on my bed. And that's a form of disrespect. And they do that. They're all sitting on the bed talking. They got their own beds. Why are they sitting on my bed? Because they were testing me to see what I would say. And I walked up to them and I'm like, hey, get off of my bed. And they're like, oh, okay, my bad. I'm like, listen, you guys, I feel y'all. I know that we got to share this space together, but I don't sit on your bed. You don't sit on mine. I respect you. You respect me. Now, that doesn't mean it could have went like that. It could have went the totally different direction, but they were testing me to see if I was just going to, because I can't tell you how many times I've seen that happen. The girls will squat up and they'll sit on another girl's bed, and then the girl whose bed it is comes in and is like, oops, excuse me, I just need to grab my stuff, and doesn't say anything and leaves. Well, they know right then and there, that's the first test that they can do whatever. When you say something, and see, for me, I always stood my ground, but I always made sure to let them know, hey, I respect you, you respect me. And I know you guys have asked me a bunch of times, and I've answered this before, but I'm going to answer it again. No, I was never in a fight in prison. Matter of fact, me and Donna was just talking about this the other day. But I wasn't in, I went to prison ready to fight, okay? At any time I got locked up, mentally I start working my way up, working myself up, like, okay, I'm about to have to fight. I'm about to have to show if, like, somebody's about to catch a fade, right? That's how we used to talk back then. Catch his fade, catch these hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it was back then. So I was ready. Does that mean I would have beat everybody? No. You know, but that was just a part of me, something that I knew back then. Remember, this is 11 years ago. I'm not like this anymore. But back then, I was not afraid to take a butt whooping if I needed to, which, you know what I'm saying? But that was just me. You gonna whoop me? You gonna have to whoop me. Whoop me then. Whoop me. That's just how I was. So, no, I was never in a fight, but I would have, and they knew that, because I had girls try to come and skip me in the canteen line. That's another way that they're going to test you. Taking your shoes, sitting on your bed, skipping you in line. They're trying to see if you're going to say something. And this is how they do. They'll carry the little bag. You're standing in line. They'll just come stand right in front of you. Look back at you. Oh, heck, now, excuse me. Behind me, thank you, and I get right in front of them. And then that's when they know, okay. So then they go and skip the next person, and she just stands there. All right, girl, you just lost your place in line for the rest of your stay, because now they know that you ain't about that life. And that's, people do that. They're going to test you in there. But I'm telling you, don't get in jail or prison and try to be hard and not be ready to fight, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to show something. You're going to have to show them, okay? So let's just get on to the next scene.
I would say I'm comfortable in there. I've kind of adapted to my surroundings. We're actually having a slam tonight, which is we all throw in different stuff that we picked up from the commissary to make a big meal, like a friend's having a cookout thing.
I love how they show that Zach adapted to his surroundings, right? He was getting into the mix. He was doing what he was supposed to be doing in there, okay? Not like Tammy, no offense, like I feel bad. I feel like I'm really giving her a hard time here, but she's so busy sitting back trying to be hard, being a cop, basically. And the whole point of going in there was to link up with people so you can find out what's going on. People aren't just gonna walk up to you and tell you, hey, I'm smuggling in contraband. Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You've got to gain their trust so you can get the information out of them. And that's exactly what Zach is doing. And the spread that they were making, all throwing in different foods and stuff like that, that really happens. As a matter of a fact, me and Jeremy filmed a video and he showed y'all how they would make a spread in the men's side exactly the same way. Everybody would throw in stuff. We filmed it. I've just got to edit it, and I hope that I get it out for you this week. But that's so ironic that we watched this show and then me and Jeremy filmed that video last week because, you know, I posted the picture. Anyways, moving on. I'm rambling. Let's get on to the next scene.
This stuff, whatever they're doing, is not working.
Correct.
Is here willingly to participate, so when he tells me he needs to go to the hospital, he's going to.
All right, this is Robert with his constipation issue in confinement. Boy, did this bring back some memories. Now, after watching the whole season, I don't know if he was faking that or not, but what I can tell you is that if he was faking that, he's obviously had that problem before, because that's exactly what it's like, and that's what I was telling y'all. I went 28 days without going potty, eating 3 square meals a day in solitary confinement, and I was in so much pain. I told y'all, same as on here. I was balled up on the floor in pain. I couldn't hardly sit. I couldn't hardly stand. I was in so much pain. So, I don't know if he was faking it or not, but if he was faking it, he was doing a really good job, because that's exactly what it's like. Ugh. I never want to deal with that again. All right, let's get into the next scene.
He pulled the bed and he stole some of the Kool-Aid.
So did you help him?
No, I kept lookout.
Isaiah, this is when I start, like, listen, Isaiah's only 19 years old, and y'all know I have Jordan, who's 18, and I was just so looking at him like a mommy in this whole entire season, like, baby boy, don't get mixed up in this stuff. And so, anyways, this part here, the stealing, that happens every day, all day. They're going to steal your stuff, especially if they think you're a pushover. They'll take your stuff right in front of you sometimes. I've seen girls walk up to a girl or a woman. You know, when I say girls, I mean women. That's just how I talk. But, and she had her coffee and wanted to see back in prison, we would take our coffee cups. They had these big, like, white coffee, these big white plastic cups. And we would make our coffee in them. And what we would do, because we didn't have a lot of stuff to flavor them, is we would take our coffee in a big cup and then we would end up adding cocoa, hot cocoa powder, because you could get the hot cocoa packets to it to make it taste good. And the girl was literally getting ready to open it to put it in her coffee, and this other chick came and snatched it out of her hand and said thank you and walked off with it. Yes. And she just sat there and she was like, just started making her coffee with something else. And I'm thinking, like, girl, that's what I'm saying. Like, not only will they steal from you behind your back, but if they think you ain't gonna do nothing, if they think you're soft, they'll come up and take something right out of your hand. If you're not gonna do nothing, you're not gonna do nothing. And it's all about the way that you carry yourself in there. And that's why I've told y'all before that if you don't have any street smarts, the women and men that go into prison that have no streets in them, those kind of people that are a lot of people out there like y'all that just, oops, made that one wrong decision in a split second, because that's all it takes. You know, for the hundreds of comments that I get below saying, don't break the law, you won't go to jail. Gotcha. I really hope those comments never come back to bite you in the butt, because literally it just takes one decision, one. And we've all made those. We've all made one decision we shouldn't have made one time or another in our life, okay? So yeah, that's just, they'll steal from you. Let's get into the next scene.
It's a picture of a foot stomping on the American flag.
So I see where you're coming from.
I told you about who was like really rude. She just drew a picture of a black foot stomping the American flag.
So why does it bother you so much? I don't understand.
Because it bothers me because I've given up everything for you. Everything I had.
I'm so conflicted about this. It's blatantly a foot on the flag, but I just don't know if she really meant to do that on purpose. What do y'all think? Before I get in any more to this, let me know below what you think. Do you think she deliberately was trying to disrespect the flag, or maybe it was a mess up and, you know, she kind of just turned it into a foot and wasn't thinking about it? I'm leaning to more onto the side of, I don't think that she meant to do that. You know, it is hard because it does look just like that. But what I don't like, though, is Barbara in this instance, because she is being so overly dramatic about it, calling her husband, you know, I've made a sacrifice for this country and you've made a sacrifice for this country. Girl, sit your butt down somewhere. Golly, there's millions of Americans making sacrifices for this company. There's millions of cops and firefighters and pilots and, you know, all kind of, you know, military and, you know, golly. What? Girl, sit down. Girl, go eat you a honey bun. Good Lord. For the love of God, would you go make you a doggone soup? Golly. Ah. Let's move on to the next scene.
Get wrapped into doing bad things.
Don't become engaged in criminal activity. You'll be charged criminally.
Here it comes. Isaiah, what did you do? They call it a crack stick.
This is the part that my mama heart was just breaking, and I know that his mom was watching this, and I know that she was sad. This is my concern with this situation. If he is this easily influenced and you're on national television while everybody's watching you, your mama, your future bosses, your old teachers, your friends, if you're that easily influenced now, what will you do on the streets, right? When it's in secret and nobody can see you or nobody can check you or there's no evidence. That really concerns me about Isaiah. And if I was his mom, I would be doing some real serious talking to him, because that is not good. Alright guys, so that's all I have for y'all for this season, season 1. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you want me to do a season 2, 3, or 4. I know a lot of y'all have told me season 4 is the best. If you want me to do season 4, let me know. I'm not gonna I would love to do it because I actually like this show and this concept. But if you guys don't want me to, then I'll move on. There's another new show that has come out on Netflix that you guys have been requesting me to review, and me and Jeremy have already started watching it, so I'm gonna do that too. But I like to watch enough of it so I have a real good understanding, and I'm not just like watching it and just giving you an opinion on that piece. I'm actually understanding it as a whole. So this is so exciting. Thank y'all for giving me these ideas and encouraging me and just being here for it. So please don't forget to like this video. It's a free way that you can help your girl out. And until next time, I love you guys so, so, so very much. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.